Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. As always, this show is proudly brought to you in partnership with brands we truly believe represent the very best the outdoor industry has to offer. Before we get started, we want to give a huge shout out to Moultrie, Ula's Archery, Threads Custom Bowstrings, G5 Outdoors, Blackburn Apparel Company, Deer Pimp Scents and Lures, Vision Clothing, Bluebird Waterfowl Company, Angry Chicken Outdoors, Barley's in Houston, Texas, and last but not least, the good folks over at Retail USA. Thank you for making us feel like family and for building some of the best shotguns on the market. From trail cameras to elevate your scouting experience, to shotguns, archery setups, apparel, and scent control. These are the brands we trust, brands we use, and brands we're proud to stand behind. I also want to send a heartfelt thank you to everyone who supports the podcast. Whether you've been here since day one or you're just tuning in, your support means the world to us. With that being said, let's dive into another episode of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast with your boy, C. Will.
Welcome back, y'all, to another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Williamson. I got my homeboy Trey, the dreaded archer, back in the building, and today's episode is going to be a little different. Today's episode is going to be basically about how it started versus what it became. We're going to talk a little bit about both how we started our brands, why we started our brands, and how our brands have evolved. So, me personally, when I first started posting outdoors content, it wasn't about algorithms, wasn't about numbers or, stuff like that. It was me, and I had a phone, and I had a love for the woods that was handed down to me from my father. And it was something that you can't be taught in a classroom. Back then, I didn't see many people who looked like me doing this. So I posted content for me, for the memories, basically, and for the passion that I had as a kid, man. So and I wanted to get that out to the world, just my story, telling my story, and then once I started my podcast, to tell other people's stories, get their story out here. So Trey, when you first started, posting outdoors content, what did you think? What did you think it was going to be?
Well, I had already had an idea of how it was going to go because me and my brother, we had our podcast, Read, Talk, and Listen. So I was already like managing that with, posting clips and editing episodes and all that and just trying to figure out how to crack the algorithm. And then my brother was like, yo, bro, you need to document your outdoor journey. Cause like at the time I had just got my bow. I was shooting every day, going to the range. I was going to 3D events and stuff like that. And he was like, bro, like you got to put this on, on wax. Like he always say, you got to put it on wax. So I was like, I think I did maybe like 1 or 2 videos of me in the backyard. I did, took some pictures. I had my ex-girlfriend at the time. She took pictures of me in the backyard shooting. He at the range shooting. And they was getting a little bit of views and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? Like, I don't care if I get views or not. We'll see where this go. And it wasn't until my brother was like, "Bro, you gotta do a podcast." And I was like, "Well, I don't even know who, like, I don't know shit about the outdoors like that to even have a podcast. Like, I don't speak the lingo." I just kept saying it, "I don't know the lingo." He was like, "Bro, screw it. Just bring Archie, bring people in at your level." And he's like, "And basically, your when people find your podcast, they can grow with you." So, like, I like that idea, but I didn't like the idea. So I was like, "You know what? I'm going to find other athletes, other former athletes who have turned to the outdoors or who are looking to find something that can help them fill that void of not playing sports anymore." So started that out, and that did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I had like 5 shows lined up, and then these guys would get on the show, and they just like it's like they couldn't talk. or they didn't want to talk, they were shy or something. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Like I still got like 10 episodes that I'll probably never see daylight because they just like so bad. So then I was like, well, how about I just find other African American outdoorsmen and get their story? And then it went, and that's why my first 3, 4 episodes, was these guys I found on not TikTok, but Instagram. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna just start talking to everybody because I got just those 4 episodes got a lot of feedback. So I'm like, eventually you run out of black folks to talk to. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna start just talking to everybody just to build content. And as I come across other African American outdoorsmen, I'll just, reach out to them. Well, you find out short that a lot of African Americans really don't be want to work with each other. So it's like, well, I'm not, one pony don't stop no show. So I'm just gonna just talk to anybody that want to talk to me, and sort of just just reaching out to people, and it just it rolled into this snowball of just these great conversations, these crazy stories I was getting, and I felt like people that was having on show, they just I would open up to me, like they would just like I don't know, just I guess the people they say that they just put it all on the line, just give it all up,
Yeah.
and that was the feedback I was getting. The people like, man, like I had such and such on my show, a couple months ago, and he talked, but then when I heard him on your show, it sounded like y'all knew each other forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like so then I realized, okay, I got a kind of a talent for this, and then I structured my shows in a way where if if I find somebody, like if I listen to a podcast and that person was on somebody else's podcast, I will go listen to as many podcasts as I can find that they've been on, and I'll make sure that I don't ask them any of the same questions. We're not talking about none of that stuff you talked about on other shows. And I
Right.
found that, especially a lot of the more polarizing guests, they like that because a lot of them get tired of talking about the same shit that they do. Like when I had Troy Fowler, the Ranch Fairy, I could tell, but he get tired of talking about FOC. He gets tired of talking about you know, um, shooting with heavy arrows and all this stuff. So when we got to talking about movies, we talked about he opened up like I don't even like hunting. He goes, I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
And bro, people like was kidding me up like, bro, how'd you get him to admit that he don't like hunting? Like, I didn't get him to admit nothing. He opened up. Didn't the question I didn't even ask that question. So it just like something that started out as just just me documenting my story and chatting with people end up turning into this whole brand that, now I go places and people, they recognize the Dreaded Archer logo. They know my podcast. People reaching out want to get on it. And it's just like, now it's turned into, almost like a little side hustle, like a job. Like I make a little bit of money doing this.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy how you can turn a new passion into, almost like a little semi career.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, man. Because when I first started, I was the type of guy I'd watch. You had me on your podcast first, and then so I would basically listen to your podcast to see how you structured yours. So basically, if you go back and listen to my older podcast, basically everything you talked about, I would structure mine like that. I was like, man, I can't copy off of him. I got to come up with my own stuff, So, eventually you evolve and you start coming up with your own stuff. But, like, what was that first post that you made, um, where you thought, basically, okay, this might turn into something? Do you remember what episode that was?
Oh, yeah, man. It was an episode where my buddy Rex was talking about uh cooking duck heart, and our friend Alex told like Alex is a very picky eater especially when it comes to outdoor wild game. And Alex, like, you know, he compared duck heart to, like, hot dogs. It tastes like a hot dog, where it's got a hot dog texture, and, bro, the comment section went crazy, like, "Bro, how you gonna how can you compare a duck heart to a hot dog and all this stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, it's just my opinion, like and the comment section went nuts. And I was like, damn, I, I might have something here. Like, okay, like people is actually listening at least to the clips.
Yeah.
And then when I had Troy Fowler on, like, to the Ranch Fairy, and people, like, actually tuned in and out, like, because normally at that time, my episodes was getting, like, 60 downloads a week, you know what I'm saying? I was maybe getting, yeah, 60 per episode a week. The highest was, like, 75, and I posted that show at 8 o'clock the following morning, because I used to record a show, and the next day was going out.
Yeah.
So, I posted it the next morning at 8 o'clock. And by like noon, I just peeked at the numbers, and it already down. It was like 250 downloads. I'm like, oh snap! Like, people listening. And then by the time it got all said and done, it was sitting right at maybe like 800 downloads. So I'm like, okay, that's dope. But I forgot, like, the Troy Fowler episode was my first Carbon TV episode. But I couldn't see the Carbon TV numbers yet.
Right.
So probably I want to say, like, at that time, Carbon TV had a show. It'd be up like a week, and then you could see the numbers. So after, like, I was waiting for that Friday. I was like, man, just can't wait to look at them numbers. And I went on there, and bro, it was like 26,000. And I was like, oh snap! I In my head, I'm here.
Right.
Like, I've arrived.
Yeah.
And then it just made me like hungry, and I just started just finding people, doing shows, and everybody. I don't care who you are. If you in the outdoors, you want to talk to me, let's do it. And it just went from there.
Yeah. So that moment when you seen those download numbers, you know, you're like, hey, I'm here. Let's do this. In the back of your mind, were you like, okay, this is kind of scary because I might have to keep up this, I might have to keep this content up. I might have to keep this content where it's high so people will keep listening.
No, not really. Cause in my head, I was just like I got the content. Like, I got books and books of like topics that I can talk about. Like, I'm never gonna run out of topics. I'll run out of people before I run out of topics. So, like, I can keep up the content, but I was like, but I can't. The show got to be more engaging. And like, and if you go through and you listen to, like, each episode after the Troy Fowler, or even from the time before I was on Carbon TV till the time I got on Carbon TV, my conversations started getting like real in depth. I really started like poking the bear, really, like, because I used to step on eggshells, because, like, I'm like, man, I don't want to mess up nobody's sponsorship. I don't want to offend nobody. And then I got to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna ask the questions. They answer, they answer. If they don't, they don't. But I want the rawness. I don't want these like cookie cutter answers, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make them, like, I really want people to think. So I just started asking, like, really compelling questions. And started realizing, like, the shows that I would do that, the guests would, like, really, like, open up. That was a turning point. Like, if I had guys on the show that was shy, when I started asking those, like, hard hitting questions, it's like it made them loosen up. And
Mhm.
then they just started talking, and then we just take the show on. So, like, I wasn't nervous or scared. I'm like, I know I can do it. It's just like, uh, at what rate can I do it at? And because in my head, I was like, all right, I'm going to stick to I'm going to release one episode a week, but I'm going to record 3 episodes a week. So I always have something in the chamber. But at that time, I wasn't even really doing clips like that. I might do like 1 or 2 clips per episode. Now I'm doing, 5, 6 clips per episode, but I also have a backstock full of clips like the slow periods where I might not be in the mood to be doing the show, or I got stuff going on. I can just throw them clips out there. And what I've noticed is when I throw older clips out, people do go back and listen to them shows. So I can see the download numbers go up. So I'm like, okay, this is my strategy. I'm gonna, like, hit it hard and then take a little time off, but I still got, back inventory of downloads. But I think, like, the time that scared me was when me and my brother we had went to Detroit for the Carbon TV banquet. It's like 10-year anniversary banquet, and we're sitting there, and there's a lady named Chrissy Titus, and she had won Podcast of the Year. So she's sitting there, and she's everybody's talking to her and everything, and I'm looking at her, and I look at my brother. I goes, "Bro, we gonna win Podcast of the Year next year." And all he said was, "Let's do it." And then we left it at that. We didn't too much really talk about it after that. That's all I said. We are going to win Podcast of the Year next year. But we got back to the hotel that night, and bro, I just started just like getting on Instagram and just started messaging people. I'm talking about just I see somebody, I message them, "Hey, we gonna come on my podcast." And I went from having no shows to by midnight that night, I had like 15 shows lined up. Then the next morning, I'm at the airport. I'm just still hitting people up. By the time I touched down back in South Dakota, I had like 32 shows already lined up in the chamber.
That's dope.
And bro, and that right there was the scary point because I'm talking about I was doing 4, 5 shows a night. Like I'd get off work at 4:30. First show 5:30. The next show 7:30. Oh shit! Told this guy I'd be done by 8:45, but we going into 9 something. So I got to take him on the show. You gotta push that joker back to about 9:30. All right, that's cool. So I started getting, jammed up. But I noticed that when I was in my groove. I'm on my third show of the night. On my third show, my second can of Grizzly, my third energy drink. I'm rolling, and the show is just going. And I look back on it, and I was like, from that at that time, I think I was right at like 20 something episodes on Carbon TV. By the time I got done with that run, I went from like 20 episodes and I was already at like 70.
Damn. You was
Yeah.
grinding.
I was grinding, man. And then like that whole like, oh, I'm just gonna post one show a week. I'm like, nah, dude, I was dropping 2 shows a week. How? I'll drop a show Tuesday, drop a show Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday. And my brother was like, bro, you can just slow down, man. You go around the people. I'm like, nah, bro. The amount of shows I got in the chamber and just started like going, 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 going. And when about the time I got done with it, like that run, it was literally because it was a 90-day. I was like, I'm just gonna stick to this shit for 90 days and see what happens. It was literally 90 days, 3 months. And in those 3 months, I get nominated for Podcast of the Year. And I'm like, damn. I
Yeah.
ain't even at this time, I haven't even been on Carbon TV a year yet.
Yeah.
And what you call it, and then I won. And then that's when it got scary. Like there's no way I'll be able to have to go to do runs like that because I gotta have a life. Like at that time of my life when I was doing that, I had a whole lot of shit going on. So in order to keep my mind off all that stuff, I just jumped into the podcast game.
Right.
It was just a perfect storm, a combination of a perfect storm. But then once everything settled down and everything was straight, and now I'm back to my everyday life, I was like, there's no way I can keep up this pace. So of course you got to go back to the drawing board and like, all right, what it wasn't me doing that many episodes that got me Podcast of the Year. It was a quality episodes.
Right.
So now I'm gonna scale back the number, but I'm gonna give you some quality.
Right.
And so it just always trying to be like 2 steps ahead. So you never get like, stuck in a spot. But yeah, I never got I'm not saying it was a scary moment, but I never like was like freaking out like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to keep this up.
Yeah. So basically, girl that won podcast of the year basically motivated you to want to win podcast of the year. Essentially, you ended up winning the next year or whatever.
Like, bro, I made it my duty. Like, I asked her while we were at the Carbon TV Awards, like, yo, I want to get you on my show. She was like, yeah, send me an email. You know how some people are when you in their face, oh yeah. But then as soon as y'all leave and y'all part ways, you shoot that text or shoot that email, you don't get nothing.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm talking about I got back to South Dakota and I had in my notes, follow up with Christy, followed up with her. And she was like, yeah, let's do it.
That's dope.
And bro, I'm talking about she was like, when I got on that run, she was like the third or fourth episode that I did. And when we got done with that episode, she was like, I've been on a lot of podcasts, a lot. And this by far is the best one that I've ever been on. And she was bragging about it. She was on her show bragging about it. She was like, yo, I went on this podcast and this guy just asked me questions that no one has ever asked me before. He opened my eyes with the stuff that I never thought, that I have that kind of opinion on. And he just changed my whole outlook on this, and this.
Yeah,
To
that's
the
dope.
point where the president of Carbon TV was like, hit me up like, yo, I want to come on the show. So it was like, okay, now I'm making some waves. But yeah, she motivated me. Like I had her, the thumbnail to her podcast was my background on my phone. Like I was that motivated.
Yeah, that's dope. That's real dope. So during that run that you were doing, where those 90 days that you were, posting and, doing your thing with the podcast, like, did you ever feel a time where you had to just post something that didn't really feel like you, just to keep the momentum going?
No, because I like that in that time period, everything was calculated. I do a show. So I'll just get an example. Say I recorded the show Monday. Tuesday, I'm getting the clips out for that show that I did Monday. So like if it was in order to go out. So like I was doing like 5 shows a day, but say that first show that I did Monday, that was a show that was going to go out next. So I'm getting the clips out for that show. So my strategy was, all right, I'm going to take, it's Tuesday, I'm going to post the show Friday. So I'm posting a clip Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. Episode dropped Friday, and I'm dropping two clips Friday. And I did that for every single episode. It was just calculated. Now, outside of that run, yeah, there's times where it's like, man, you'll have a show, and some shows they just don't make for good clips, because clips are supposed to be like punchy, catchy, get people to want to come and watch a show.
Right.
But some topics ain't pretty, especially when we were talking about that House bill that they're talking about. See, it was the one bill Colorado had when they were talking about getting reintroducing wolves back into the environment or the ecosystem. That show was dull. It's information packed, but you're not going to get a bunch of cool clips out of that. But I just had to post something to fulfill the post. I cannot not post. But what surprised me is those clips were more engaging. So people giving their opinion about it. Okay, cool. So now I know that anytime there's legislation come up, I need to have a show on it, and don't be afraid to post the clips because people actually want to engage with them. Then when the whole public land going up for sale, when that bill was up, I had several shows about that. I think every guy I had on the show leading up to the vote, we mentioned it. We spend 30, 45 minutes, hell, maybe an hour talking about it.
Right.
Those clips are not, those clips aren't engaging. I mean, not engaging. Those clips are not flashy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the guy that doesn't care about that kind of stuff is not going to stop and listen to it. The casual hunter, but the deep rooted hunter, he gonna listen because that shit affect his everyday life. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't afraid to post those clips, but I during the run everything was calculated. But yeah, there's like those, like I said, it's those dull conversations that in my head I think, man, this is really not my show. it make my show seem boring. But I realized it brought a whole different crowd to my show. And then once that episode brought them to the show, they went back and listened to the whole catalog and was like, "Hey, man, I originally listened to your show because you were talking about this house bill, but I went back and listened to like 20 other shows, and dude, I'm a fan now." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So those episodes are needed. So it's like sometimes you got to step outside of your comfort zone in order to see what works. Because I mean, it's social media. Literally in 24 hours, the shit is off the timeline.
Mhm.
So you post it, you have a bad day of posting, cool. Post another one and bounce back tomorrow.
Right. Is it harder for you, to take breaks, in between, podcasts? Say you want, you put all this content out 3 months in, 3 months in, one podcast a year is like, all right, I'm gonna take a break. Like, is it harder for you to take a break when people are expecting like a lot of content from you?
Yeah, that was the hardest part, was taking the break. Because I won podcast of the year, and then like it's crazy. I got like 3 sponsors off, like, just from that, and those companies are no longer around anymore.
Yeah,
But I got those sponsors, and man, I was filming commercials for them and doing reviews for the product and all that stuff. And then it was like that took time away from the podcast. I'm like, damn, like I'm I'm trying to two-peat, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm doing all this extra stuff that I normally don't do, and I'm not podcasting. It's hard. But my now fiance, she was like, "Yo, like you gotta take a break. You like just you won, relish in winning, and then after the new year, kick it back up again." So I took like 3-4 months off,
yeah,
and like it was hard because I'm watching everybody still posting, and but people were still going back and looking at clips. People still listening to old shows. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. And every once in a while, I post a story, or I'll go post, like we have Carbon TV had us do stuff like, advertising the app, or, different projects they have going on. I didn't make videos for that, but that was it.
yeah,
And, but when I came back, it felt good. So like my break is needed because you can easily get burnt out doing this stuff, especially if you like trying to reach a goal. You can burn yourself out quick. And when you burnt out and you do a show, because I've done it, it just ain't the magic ain't there. You looking at the clock, just waiting to hit an hour. And
hmm,
so you know how like when we do a show, we get to talking, and I'll look up and shit. It seems like we only been talking about 15 minutes. It's like an hour and a half.
yeah,
When you trying to get to that hour and a half, bro, it's like it never come.
yeah,
Like it never come, man.
yeah. As you sitting there waiting on it, it's just like going a second at a time. Like,
That's it.
yeah, man,
Dude, one second or 5 seconds. 1 second feels like 5 seconds. You be
yeah,
like, oh, and we talked for like 10 minutes. Like, nope, it's only a minute and a half. Like, damn.
yeah. So, when you made it to the top, people say it's lonely at the top once you make it up there. But as we know, both of us, podcasting comes, success and criticism. So how do you stay grounded when, the trolls start hitting you up in DMs and uh saying negative stuff in the comments and stuff like that?
So I took a page out of Joe Rogan's book. I post and ghost, which is a bad thing to do because like TikTok punish you for that shit. Instagram don't, Facebook don't, but TikTok will punish you for that shit. So like if you don't interact with people in the comment section, TikTok gets they'll you know they'll govern your views. So Instagram, I literally post ghost. I might, depending on what the comment is, if it's worth the reply, I'll reply to it. Or if I'm just feeling froggy that day, I'll reply. But TikTok, I'm responding to everybody. Even if it's like, that's right, brother. Cool. That's what's up. Facts. Let's
Yeah,
just go back and look at my facts. I say facts a whole lot, but I'm liking, regardless if it's negative or positive, I like the comment. I reply to it just to keep the TikTok powers that be happy. Instagram, you say some slick shit. I'm not. I might reply. I might not. Most of the time, I won't. So, but when in the inbox when I get trolls, like I don't reply to them because they're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they'll send something and I'll just delete it. A lot of times they don't follow me anyway, so it goes to that request inbox, and you might see that every once in a while, and I'll go look at it and just like, oh, that was 2 weeks ago, that was a month ago, so it's not even warranted a reply, and I just go about my business. I have had people that hit me up on Facebook, then they'll go to Instagram, then they'll go to TikTok, and then they're like, well, damn, he's saying like he don't recognize me, which is why I don't do TikTok lives because I don't want people. I don't like being accessible to people like that.
Right. Yeah.
TikTok live, like when you get stuck in that game, bro, I've seen cats for real, man. They'll be on TikTok live for 3, 4 hours. It's 10, 15 people in the comment section. And you don't even have time to talk about whatever you want to talk about. You're literally just answering the questions that people are commenting. And that's to me, that's boring. Or you'll see people, they'll have like a panel of like 8 people and everybody's having their own conversation. It just sounds like a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
I was like, and I've been invited to several of those. I'm like, I'm good, man. Appreciate it, but no, thank you.
Yeah. I've seen them too. It's just like, man, whole bunch of noise.
Yeah, but what they doing is, and it's actually pretty smart because like there's these groups on TikTok, and say you got like 15 cats, so they'll all start a live and join each other's live, and one guy might have you know 25,000 followers, somebody, and then you might have another person that's got like 200 followers, but everybody's getting filtered to that live. So everybody who's on that live is getting credit for having, that many people in the comment section, getting gifts and all that shit. So
Yeah.
it's boosting their numbers up, and that way TikTok will push their content out. The TikTok wants you to go live. I get an email at least twice a week saying your audience wants to see you more. Go live, go live, go live,
Yeah.
go
I get
live.
them all the time too.
And I'm like, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
But me and my brother, we did one episode of RTL live on TikTok, and bro, we went from having like 15 followers. We rarely post over there at that time. We barely post over there, and it like jumped up to like 150 just like that after one live. I'm like, okay, I see why people go live now because the followers come in. But also, TikTok has become uh like like the begging streets. Everybody begging when, oh hey man, hit that like, man, send that gift. Bro, I ain't begging you to send me no bread, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm way too proud to beg. Yeah, I
And you're
just
too
can't,
proud to beg.
bro. But that's what's coming, just like a bunch of panhandlers. So I just, I'll pop into somebody's live. Hey, what's up, Dreaded? Speak my piece, and I dip out. I can't sit on there, you know, hours on end. But yeah, I ghost and post. I post and ghost. I just post it and I leave. I'll come back and check the views every once in a while. And if there's a comment on there that's that sparks my fancy, I'll reply to it. But other than that, I don't got too much to say.
Heard that. Let's take it back to back in the day, man, when you was, growing up in the mean streets of Texarkana, Texas. Like, did you feel like you belonged in the outdoor space back then?
No, it would never cross my mind, dude. I had 3 things on my mind when I was growing up. 1, working out. 2, playing football. And 3, I was trying to be one of the hottest rappers to come out of Texas, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Hey, man, dude, ask any of my homeboys. They'll tell you. We lived at 13 Wisteria. And we called it Club 13 because bro, everybody was there, bro. I had this HP computer, I had this microphone. We had to open the windows up and cut the fan on, so the what you call it, the acoustics sounded good. And then we had little pads up in the closet, and we was in that joker rapping, bro. My homeboys would come over about 8 in the morning, and we've been joking till about 9 at night, bro. We didn't record it 10, 15 songs. I'm talking about beat after beat after beat, just dropping it, man.
Yeah, I was like the Dungeon family.
Bro, I honestly, for real, bro, because man, cats was sleeping at my house, man. My mom, but hey, she be cooking, bro. I'm talking about, hey, we should have been sponsored by Hamburger Helper, bro. We had every flavor in the cabinet. Hamburger Helper, noodles. She make this dish, bro. It's like famous. It's called smothered and covered. Ain't nothing special about it. All it is smothered potatoes, smoked sausage, cheese, and you eat it with a side of you have a grand biscuit on the side or some biscuits. And you put some syrup on the top, and you put some jelly in that biscuit. And bro, she go get 20 pounds of potatoes, probably about 10, 15 pounds of sausage, and bro, she feeding an army, man. We in that joker eating, smothered and covered, and you get right back in the studio and get the rapping.
Shout out to my Dukes for the smell
I'm
of the
telling you,
cover.
the smothered and covered, man. We were trying to get up out of Texas County, man.
I was trying to get out of it. That's funny.
But yeah, and then of course, like football, man. Like football was my love, bro. Like if I wasn't at home rapping, I was at the gym working out, and I was on the field doing drills. I knew like if I want to go to college, it's gonna be because of football, because like we just didn't have the bread. At the time, I didn't know about financial aid and all that. So I'm like, if I'm gonna go to college, it's gonna be because football. Because I know my mom can't afford to put me through school, and then my sister was right behind me, and then my brother, like 3 kids in college, man, she be broke.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, football is the way out. And then in my hometown, that's like, some folks, most what they say, either you sell crack rock or got a wicked jump shot.
Yep.
Hey, down here, that's how it is. Like either you in the streets or you play some kind of sport to get out. Other than that, because rapping ain't gonna get you nowhere. We only had one cat make it out with rapping. That was Southside Reggie, and he back at the crib.
Southside
What's up,
Red.
Southside Reggie? When they calling my name, go Reggie now, step in the game, bro. He would shut the club down around here. But dude, I would be watching film all the time, man. Said working out, and like I got to high school like my freshman year. I mean, I'll never forget it. The first practice, I'm down with the ninth graders because that was my squad. Like we went undefeated in 7th grade, undefeated in 8th grade. Like we were destined to be the team to bring a state title to Pleasant Grove. And I remember being down there with the freshmen, and Coach Barker, the head coach, walked down. He said, "What you doing down there?" And I said, "I'm a freshman playing with the freshmen." He said, "Nah, you down there with the varsity." And bro, I cried because I didn't want to go. I didn't feel like I was ready until the first time I got that ball, and then I remember it was 27 draw. I'll never forget it. Nah, got that joker, and took that joker to the house. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going. I'm in my head. I'm going D1. I never had dreams of going to the league. It was just I was want to go to college because my mom, she's one of the moms that she break it down to you like, look, man, only 1% of high school kids play D1 football,
Yeah.
and only half of a percent actually go to the NFL. So like, let the goal be to get to college, and then once you get to college, then look towards the league. But once I got to college, I'm like, I didn't even like football no more. Once I got to college, it was just a means to an end. I was just planning to be playing it, and because like I fell in love with college. So, but yeah, like growing up, it was football, working out, and rapping. I had no ambition to be in the outdoors. I lost that when I was like 8 because I kept asking my dad to take me because he was a hunter, and he just never would do it. It was just a bunch of false promises. So I was like, all right, well, you not gonna take me. I don't know nobody else that do it. So you know what? I'm just gonna focus on football because I know people that's gonna take me to practice. I know people that's gonna take me to the games. I know people from this town that's made it to where I want to go. So I'm going to focus on that and be around them. You can have hunting.
Yeah. So when did after football or whatever, I'm guessing that's when the outdoors like space really hit you, because it basically, from some of your other podcasts, it basically saved you from depression.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, so when I was in college, I met this dude named Rex Hayes. To this day, my best friend. We talk every single day. And Rex was like, I joined the fraternity, and he's one of those cats in the fraternity, like he in the fraternity, but he was like never around. And then I ended up moving off campus into the fraternity house, and like he was like he lived there. So he was like, he'd come and be like, oh yeah, man, he'd be here and leave. Well, that particular year, once after I had crossed, me and him had every class together. So it was just like, hey man, I'm just gonna ride. I didn't have a car. So either I was gonna walk to school or ride with him. So I was like, I'm just gonna ride with you because we got every class together anyway. And just through that, like our friendship, formed. And then like he would get up, and go duck hunting. And I'm an early bird. So I'd be up and he getting ready to go. I'm like, man, what you going to go do? Oh man, I'm gonna go hunt some ducks. And I'm like, damn, I want to hunt ducks. He's like, you got a shotgun? I'm like, hell no. Yo, get a shotgun and what you call it? We can go. So I'm like, bet. Well, you in college, that refund check hit, you get that little extra money. So
Yeah.
I got, so I played football and I had academic scholarship. So I was getting like 10 racks back every semester. So I'm like, I was living good. So I got my refund check. I went to his pawn shop and I bought this Winchester tactical shotgun. No one told me, little snub nose, no one told me that won't work for duck hunting. Even the dude that I was checking, he was like, what you gonna do with this? I'm like, I'm going duck hunting. He didn't say like, nah, man, you need something that's different. He was just trying to get the sale. And I know why now, because that gun had been sitting there forever. He was just trying to get up off of
He
it.
was like, oh yeah, it's a work.
Yeah. So Rex comes back that morning, or not morning, but that night. And I'm like, hey, bro, I went and got a shotgun. So he's like, man, let me see it. And I show it to him. He was like, bro, you can't kill. You ain't gonna kill nothing with this Joker. Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that Joker was
18 and a
it
half
was a
inch
little,
long, probably
it
barrel.
was a little tactical shotgun is what it was,
Home
bro.
defense type joint.
Yes, it had a little handle on the grip, pistol grip. So but he was like, but if you want to go, you can go. So went to Walmart, got my tag and shit. The next morning, got up, and man, we was out there just shooting shit. I'm just shooting. Wow, wow, wow. I ain't hitting nothing, but he was so dope because he was hitting everything. He'd be like, oh man, you got that one. I'm like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm hyped up. And then like he went on cast that like, after the day kind of died down, he willing to jump, like hop in a boat and just ambush ducks. So we started doing that, and now the snub nose is now I'm close range. I'm jumping over levees and bah, bah, I'm hopping. So I loved it. So then I end up like a couple weeks later, I ended up actually buying a legit shotgun. I got it was like a English arm 12 gauge. It's a pump. That company don't even exist no more.
Yeah.
But it's one of the heaviest shotguns I've ever had in my life. But I loved it because it was mine. It was my first one. I killed a bunch of ducks with that Joker. And then the incident with the gator happened with me and Rex being in the water, and I was like, I ain't never duck hunting with your ass again, bro. I'm done. But he tried to introduce me to it, but it was just like it wasn't the right time. Then it was, I graduate. I lived in Texas County for a year, and Rex he'd come visit. Hey man, let's go hunt, coyotes. Let's go hunt, nutria rats, the beavers and shit like that. So I'm like, I'm down for it because I just like kicking it with him. This is my homeboy. Was doing that, and then I moved to South Dakota, and I didn't know nobody. I had sold my shotgun. I had a 270 Remington 270. I sold that just to have some bread to when I moved, and I just didn't think about the outdoors. It wasn't a thing, man. And like it's funny how stuff happened. You just kind of it bring you back to like where you
Mhm.
supposed to be. My route when I would leave, because I had South Dakota and I had Eastern Iowa, no Western Iowa. So when I would drive over head to Iowa, I would pass the sign, this rickety sign that said archery shop. And I'd pass it and just like, oh, I wonder what's over there. And then, in the fall, when the leaves are leaves off the tree, you can see their walk around range. You can see their their target ranges, all that stuff out there. I'm like, oh man, that's dope. But I just never had no interest to go over there. And then, I met this girl. We got the kicking and everything, and life is good, I guess. Then the snow hit.
Yeah.
That's when that seasonal depression hit. You can't do nothing. You can't be outside. Going to the gym is a journey. So I'm like, I'm not going to the gym anymore. I want to kick it with this girl. We going out, we drinking, it's everything, and it's just like I just started spiraling. And then my mom was like, "Yo, you getting fat in the face," and she's like,
Yeah. Your moms will tell you that too.
You getting fat in the face." I'm like, I ain't getting fat because in my head I still think I look good. But then I realized, man, the clothes that I came up there with, man, they been kind of snug now. So I'm like, man, she ain't lying. And then I realized I got on the scale, and I remember when I got to South Dakota, I was like 225. I got on that scale and I was like 256. And I'm like, hell no, man. I cannot be 256. I've never been 250 in my life. And that brought the pressure because now I'm trying to like go to the gym and work out and try to lose weight, and the weight ain't coming off. And then I'm like, okay, like screw it, screw the gym. I'm just gonna drink and I'm just not gonna eat. So I was just drinking, not eating. But that don't work.
It don't work.
Then me and the girl I'm dating, we not in a good space. We going back and forth all the time about stupid shit. So now I'm just like, just and one day she was like, yo, we gotta do something different. Like, I can't stand being around you. Obviously, you can't stand being around me. Let's get out the house. Let's go do something. And I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, I don't know. Name something. I'm like, let's just get in the car and drive. And so she lived like right down the road from that archery sign. So we was driving down the road and I see it, archery. I was like, yo, let's go down that road. It's a dirt road. We go down that dirt road and man, I walked in that shop and I just looked around and it was like, man, you see all the mounts on the wall. He got Kim had pictures of all the like famous hunters that came through that autographed stuff for him. I'm looking at that shit. And then Kim had these five big, I mean, I to this day, I've never seen deer this big on the like the deer he had on his wall was just nuts. And I'm like, hey man, where you get them from? He goes, oh, we killed them right here on the property. I'm like, for real? He goes, yeah, because where his property is, it's like right next to like the Big Sioux. So like it's like a travel corridor for deer. And then they put food plots out and like they don't allow nobody to hunt it but family. And you're not gonna go out there, you're not gonna shoot, you know, uh, a little dink. They let they deer get old. Like, all right, this deer been around 4 or 5 years. It's time to get them. So I'm like looking at them deer, and he put a bow in my hand. I got to shooting it, and I'm like, man, this is it. Because that void started to go away,
Yeah.
and from that day on, every day I got off work, I was at that shop. On my lunch break, I'm at that shop. On the weekends, I'm at that shop. They became family, and then this guy named Bob. Bob was like, he called me Trey Bird. Hey, Trey Bird, you gonna hunt this year? I'm like, oh man, I ain't got no rifle. He goes, no, you can hunt with the bow. I'm like, I can hunt with this? He was like, yeah. And man, he took me over there, showed me broadheads, and we just went outside and he showed me where to shoot a deer at and stuff. And he actually took me under his wing, was like, this is what you need to do. This is some good public land here to go hunt. There's some good public land. But I didn't have to worry about public because the girl I was dating, her parents had like a shit ton of land. So her pops was like, hey, you can come out here and hunt. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll even put some corn out for you. And bitch, I had to set up. And I got my first deer, and it was a wrap after that.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's dope how all that comes full circle, man. When you struggling through something, man, and outdoors, something a part of the outdoors, archery, hiking, fishing, hunting, brings you full circle to get you out of that depression, pretty much.
Yeah, it got me out because man, I was struggling, just like not knowing like who I was. Because when you play football for so long, that becomes your identity,
Yeah,
and even like your life is structured around football. I mean, it goes from January to April. That's the off season. You working out, you watching film, you getting ready for spring camp. Spring camp come. Now you fighting for a spot. Luckily for me, my spot was pretty much solidified. I just got to keep my spot. Boom. You going through camp, you learning the playbook, you doing all that. Then boom, you hit the summer. You working out. You looking at your competitors. Figuring out how the season gonna go. Then you come into fall camp. Fall camp, getting ready for the season. Then the season come, and then that's your life schedule.
hmm
And then when all that stops, one, you got way too much free time, like way too much free time. And then you got that's when a lot of guys get in trouble.
yep,
I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that in college too. Like you have guys that they pretty much squeaky clean freshman to the fall of their senior year, and then they spring ain't no football. NFL ain't coming.
hmm
So now it's class and nothing. So a lot of cats, if you was like me senior year, I had class Mondays, Mondays through Thursdays.
Fridays off.
Yep, from 8 to 1. At 2 o'clock, from 2 to midnight, I got nothing. So what you do? You
Yep,
start partying.
yep,
So you start partying, and I was one of them guys. Like I kept my syllabus, so I was always ahead in class. I just anything I'm not going to get kicked out of school because my grades are bad. That ain't happening. So I was always good with grades, but I'd be up late out drinking. That's where my drinking started because I didn't grow up drinking at all.
yeah,
So it was like in college. So and I was like, okay, well, this is what everybody doing. Then you go into parties, you go into all this stuff, and it's just like that was kind of like my fallback to is like, oh, when I have free time, I'm gonna go and and drink and have fun. Well, when football's over with, that's it.
hmm
You go to work, and then you get your work buddies, and most guys, what they do, especially married guys, before they get off work, man, we're gonna swing by the bar, have a couple drinks, and
and go
go
home.
to the crib. Well, I didn't have nothing to go home to. I don't have no family here, so I'd go to the bar get off work at 4:30. I'm at the water hole from 4:30 to 9:30. Go home, shower, eat, watch TV. Shit, it's 11:30, midnight. Shit, I ain't sleepy. Shit, Imma go down to the bar and have one more.
Yeah, go one.
Or
Yeah,
nightcap. And that's what it turned into. Then it was like, well, damn, it's expensive to drink at the bar.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna go to the and so my job, I'm in and out of gas stations and liquor stores dealing with tobacco contracts. I'll go to a liquor store, I buy a handle of Buffalo Trace, or I'll get some Macallan, scotch, some tequila, depending on how I'm feeling. And I'd go home, sit down, and by the end of the night, that bottle empty.
yeah.
And I'm waking up the next morning, don't know where I'm
Hungover.
at.
Yeah,
Hungover, toe up.
yeah,
It wasn't a life for me. And when Kim put that bow in my hand and introduced me to archery, I didn't care about drinking. If I didn't have nothing to do, I couldn't get out the house. I'm watching archery videos, or sometimes I would just pull out my bow and look at it.
yeah,
Just pull it out and just look at it, tinker with it. Looking at arrows, looking at at the time I had a Mission hammer. I'm looking at the Matthews VXR. Then the V3 came out. I'm looking at bows, listening to different hunting podcasts, on food like, oh, just getting a map of the properties I can hunt. I'm gonna put a food plot right here. I'm gonna put a tree stand right here. Like my mind was occupied. I was addicted,
Yeah, I get that.
and alcohol had played no role in my life at that point.
Mhm. Yeah, I got a kind of similar similar story. You know, my freshman and sophomore, you know, years of high school, I loved, but my junior and senior year, man, like was awful. Uh, Basketball season I love, but as soon as baseball season coming around, man, like I dreaded it because the way I got treated by some of my teammates, you know, I was the only black kid on any of my sports teams. You know, it's just I just felt like an outsider, man, and I really didn't have nobody to go to. My dad, my dad's like, you know, keep going because they want you to quit. You know, that's
Yeah,
the, you know, so just keep going. I had a bunch of scholarships to go play basketball, but baseball was where my heart was. I was like, wasn't getting nobody, you know, want me to come play baseball for them. I had one college that basically came, and it was the day that I got my sling off my arm because I had dislocated my shoulder. And I didn't even know they was going to be out there, you know. So I get to practice, and all my teammates like, "Oh, you're practicing today, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I just got cleared." And they was like, "Well, it's, you know, seems kind of funny that you're practicing today when somebody's out here to see you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like coaches out here to see you from such and such college to, you know, watch you pitch. And like, it's like they was jealous, you know? And I was like, man, I didn't know they was here. You know, I didn't know they was supposed to be here. So that, that kind of made them feel a certain way. So once, once I graduated, man, and ended up going to WKU, man, like, and meeting the people that I met, it's like one of my best friends, man, she basically seen me with my crew. And she's like, Courtney, you finally found yourself. Cause like they didn't care whether I played baseball, they didn't care whether I hunted, they didn't care. They just liked me for who I was. And then my junior year, I ended up having an opportunity to end up going overseas and play basketball. So everything kind of came full circle from there, man. But up until that, man, hunting was kind of the thing that, you know, kept me grounded. But once hunting season was over, you know, I'm right back on the baseball field, just hating life.
yeah.
You know, and I'm just waiting on hunting season to come back around to get me back in the woods. But it seemed like it took forever for that to happen. But
To get there.
you know, but
But you know what's crazy is, and this is like probably a little bit off subject, but a little bit on subject because you brought it up. When you're getting recruited, when you're in high school getting recruited, it is it's a cool thing from the outside looking in, but when it's happening to you, the animosity between the teammates, the tension
hmm
is real. And I'll never forget it because I remember like when I was a sophomore and you know I'm a sophomore. Like you are still low on the team, but when you are a sophomore and you are starting over a senior who, you know, he been in the program for 4 years and he's put in his dues. And you after running around and catching the ball and doing stuff and you doing practice and coach, hey man, come over here. This guy want to talk to you. And you tend to talk to this coach and you see the older teammates walk by and they looking at you like, how you getting this attention? You a sophomore. I didn't play 4 years. I'm all district, all state, da da da, and ain't nobody calling me.
yeah,
And this jealousy happens. It even happens in like college, where we all got recruited to the same school. But you know it like I know it. Certain coaches just they are I'm not
hmm
say attracted, but they get closer to certain players than others.
yeah,
And I was one of those players that like I think the coaches knew that my love was not for football at that point, but they like, "Man, this kid comes out, he gives 110%. When we working out, he cheering everybody on. He know the playbook. He's helping other guys out. He get it done in the classroom. It ain't never no problem when he gonna get it done in the classroom. He come to study hall. He help other kids or other guys on the team get they shit done. Like this is our model guy, and I'm kind of an old soul, so I just talk to the coaches, and they talk back, and other players be like, oh, why you kissing up the coach? I'm not kissing up. I'm just talking. He's a man.
Right.
This is his job.
Yeah. It was a little bit different for me because, like, everybody that I played baseball with expected me to go somewhere and play basketball because basketball was my best sport. Baseball was where my heart was. I mean, I was a good baseball player too. I was a pitcher, but I always wanted to go pitch, at a college. I didn't think about going and play basketball. In hindsight, I probably should have went somewhere and played basketball. So when I was getting recruited playing basketball, all my baseball teammates, the ones that really didn't like me, the ones that rock with me, they was always cool. But the ones that really didn't like me, it was like, oh man, congratulations on, this, this, and this. But like, soon as that coach was there for me in the baseball world, it was a problem,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what's the difference? And then,
Well, the difference is they didn't play basketball.
right. And then what, what still to this day, man, like people around my town to this day will come up and ask me this question. So in 2003, we made it to the state champ or made it to the state. And we hadn't made it since 1969. I was the pitcher. I was the winning pitcher in 2003 in the region. We hadn't won a region since 69. So I win. I was the winning pitcher to make, to get us to state. So we ended up making it to the final four and I hadn't pitched yet. I'm like, why ain't I pitched yet? And we're getting beat probably 3 or 4 runs. Our starting pitcher's starting to get tired. So I'm waiting on coach to look at me like, all right, get the bullpen. Well, he ended up getting somebody else that really shouldn't even been in the game at the time. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't blame him. I blame the coach. I'm like, bro, I got you to this point, and you don't even give me the opportunity to pitch in the state. So like we get home, man, everybody's coming to me at school, like, what did you do? Did you piss coach off or something? I was like, bro, I don't know. Like your guess is as good as mine why I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I was at the basketball game last night and my buddy Jordan was asking me the same question. He's like, man, back in 2003, he's like, did you make coach mad or something? Like everybody in the town was like, why is he not pitching? I don't know, bro. Like to this day. We just water under the bridge or whatever. And, I try to be cool with all my coaches back in the day. It's like when I see him sometimes, it's like, I know we're adults now. We got kids and stuff like that. You still reminisce on them times. Like, bro, like, why didn't you pitch me? Like, but it
Bro,
is what it
I
is.
had a moment like that. I wasn't playing. I was on crutches. I broke my ankle, and we were playing for the district title, playing Liberty Isle, which they for for years they've ran that district. They got multiple guys always going D1. They got guys that play the NFL. They just produce great athletes over there. And it was 10-3. No, it was 3-3. 3-3. It's fourth quarter. We got the ball. It's 4th and 1. And our running back, which is my best friend Kennard, he's our backup running back. Dude, uh, you give him the ball, he gonna stumble to 5 yards. You're not stopping him. Dude is just a rock. It's 4th and 1 with a minute 30 left. We can't give them the ball back. And the Coach Davis calls some slants. And I'm going ballistic. Run the effing ball, run the effing ball. I'm yelling. And then I just like something just took over me. And I yelled Jake's name as our quarterback. And I was like, run the ball. And I just like stepped in front of coach, and yeah, so he thought I was calling the play in. So he audibled out, ran a dive. Kennard gets like 15 yards. We march down, score, end up winning the game. Now, I get it. You're a 16-year-old kid. You should not be yelling cuss words on the sideline. You shouldn't be undermining the coach and all that stuff. But dude, you were gonna throw the game.
Yeah.
You were like, and then so the next morning we're at Saturday workouts, and I'm on the exercise bike just riding because I can't really do nothing. And he was like, "Yo, don't ever do that again. Like, don't ever undermine me in front of all those people again." And I was like, "Yeah, but you were going to you were calling a dumb play. Like, Kennard is averaging 10 yards a carry. Why would you not give it to him on 4th and 1?" "Well, I have my reasons." "No, yeah, your reason is you want the quarterback to be the star of the game, and say, but what if he messes up?"
Yeah. Like Russell Wilson in Super Bowl.
Yes. And so he was like, "Well, if you ever do that again, you'll never be on the sideline again." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I you got it." And from that moment on, dude, like our relationship was never the same. Like even when his coaches were coming up and to school and talking to me and stuff, he didn't want nothing to do with it at all. The offensive coordinator was the guy that's really pushing me, and man, I will give it to this day. This guy got to be a hell of a salesman because how do you sell a running back who missed his junior and senior year?
Yeah. That's dope.
Like how do you get a D1 a school that's like, "Hey, we still want this cat."
Yeah.
So he spoke up for me like, "Hey, he hurt, but I can tell you now, when he wasn't hurt, the boy can ball." Like he went out junior year with at our 5th game of the season, he was already 800 yards in 4 games. Had he finished that game Friday night, shit, he probably would on over 1,000 in 5 games.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, when getting the scholarships and it just built animosity, and sometimes you get coaches that they didn't get their day in the sun,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and they
sir.
and they and they be blocking kids from getting they glory.
Yep.
It's how it is. I see it around here all the time. Like we'll have kids that'll leave one school to go to another school, not because of sports, because the school is a better school. Opportunity is better there. They run around with a gang at this other school, and their parents want to move them to another school so they ain't gotta be around them kids.
Yeah.
The minute he plays sports, somebody will call the UIL here and be like, "Hey, this kid transferred schools. He playing football," and they will tell that kid he got set out a year.
Vince?
Why would you do that? Why does it matter?
Yep.
Why does it matter? If even if he did transfer because of football, why does it matter? How does that affect you?
Yep.
People do it though.
Yeah. People do it. But yeah, man. So at the end of the day, man, as the dreaded archer, why do you keep coming back to the woods, and why did you keep coming back on your podcast? Telling your stories and telling other people's stories.
Because I love it. I love sitting down with people and picking their brain. Like, how did we get here? That's a question that it's on its face. It don't seem like a lot, but when you actually take a step back and you look at all the different roads you could have taken, why'd you take the one you took? Was it by divine intervention, or was it dumb luck, or was it strategic? Like like we don't know. But whatever reason it is, it got you here. So, and I want to unpack that because when you talk to people on that level, you find out a whole lot about them, and a lot of times people don't like they don't get people don't listen to them in a real life. Like nobody either people don't respect them, people don't even care to hear their story. You just another Joe Smo. But then they come on my podcast and I talk to them, we start unpacking stuff. They found out stuff about themselves that they didn't even know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even know I cared about that. I didn't know I should have cared about that. Um, and then it just still bring me peace. It continues to bring me peace. It keeps me grounded, and I feel like there's a whole lot that I can give to the outdoors, but I'm starting to get to the point where it's like the stuff that the what I want to give to the outdoors want it. And not necessarily the outdoors, but the people. Because dude, social media has, in my opinion, it's just like ruined the outdoors. It like I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a gift and a curse.
Yes.
Because one, it brings so much exposure to the outdoors, conservation and things like that. But on the backside, it makes like people get into this shit for the wrong reasons. Like I talk to a lot of guys, they want to start a podcast, they want to start making outdoor content, but it ain't because they want to share stories. It's not because they want to have a record of what's going on right now. It's because they want the fame, they want the sponsors, they want the free stuff. That's what that's what I want. I want the free hunts and all that stuff. And it's like I can't tell you how to get there because I don't know how to get there. Sometimes shit just happens,
Yeah.
and they don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You got so much infighting right now. People fighting over like they look at, what bow you shooting, what kind of hunting you do. Do you ground blind hunt? Do you saddle hunt? Do you spot and stock? Do you rifle hunt? Do you use a crossbow? Do you use traditional bow? Use a compound? Oh, you like drones? I think drones don't belong in the outdoors. It's just like so much back and forth and bitterness. Like I feel like the work is not getting done.
Yeah.
Like we still have people out there that want to take our hunting lands. The only time that we even speak about this shit is when it's the bill is at the about to get signed
Yep.
at the 15th hour.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And now everybody wants to get together and start, signing petitions and having, the conversation. Don't let the conversation die. So like that's why I keep doing it. Cause like if as long as I got a voice, I'm going to continue to talk stuff. I want people I want to have the uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
Like that was my goal. My goal for season 3 of the Dreaded Archer in 2026 is to have uncomfortable conversations. I want people like, and if you stand on something, stand on it.
Yep.
If I bring you on my show and I get the questioning you, don't back down and say, "Oh, I'm not talking about that," or "I'm not going to talk about it because people don't understand." No, this is your time.
Yep.
Stand on it.
Yep.
And that's and when I go on other people's podcasts and they say, "Hey, man, on this show you said this," yeah, I said it, and this is what I meant by it. I'm not backing. I don't back down. And a lot of times I've been on people's shows where I end up taking the show over, and it's like, dang, it seemed like another episode of Dreaded Archer.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, I just love it. I wanna leave a mark on it. Um, like I feel like I got a whole lot more to do in the podcast game, but like right now, I'm super ADHD. Like me, my brother, and my sister, we all like this. We can literally be like have something going. Like my podcast is great. I'll go for I want to work on films now. I want to work on documentaries. I want to tell other people's stories visually now. People, oh, it's gonna take away from the podcast. I don't care. I don't care. I want to try that out. My brother, same thing. He was a personal trainer, and one day he woke up and decided, man, I want to pick up a camera.
Yeah.
So what did he do? My sister, she's done everything. She's been a photographer. Oh, don't like that. You know what? I want to start catering. Start catering. Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna go sell apartments. Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna start my own business and start cooking and have a deli. And she's been successful in everything she's done. My brother, he's been successful in everything he's done. I've been successful in everything that I put my hand at. So it's like, well, you know what? Right now I'm batting 1,000. So
Right.
why not jump in the film game? Everybody else is getting in film, and right now people saying Hollywood is dead. Documentaries are too political. Well, you know what? It's been a long time since I've seen a good hunting documentary,
Yeah.
and not just oh hey, we're gonna go out and shoot this buck that I've been looking at. No, I want to get people's stories, man. Tell me again how we got here. You know, why do people in New York hunt the way they hunt? Why do people in Kentucky hunt the way they hunt? Why do people in Mississippi hunt the way they hunt? Why do people down south eat this, but people up north don't? Why people up north eat this and people down south don't?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this fish deemed a trash fish over here, but over in this county it's a trophy? Like I wanna know all of that, and I wanna document it. I wanna tell that story. I wanna bring people who are not in this world into this world and be able to walk away and say, "Well, I'm not interested in hunting, but damn, that was a good documentary. I'll look at it." And that way, when bills come up that's gonna affect the hunting world, they can say, "I don't hunt, but damn, that documentary I watched, man, like those people in that documentary, that's gonna affect them. I gotta do my part."
Right.
That's why I continue to keep doing this.
That's what's up, man. Well, as always, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, man, and you know, keep grinding.
But you already know, man, I appreciate it. But anytime you hit me up, you know, I'm right around the corner.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, I'll tell people, man, it was never about likes. It was always about the legacy for me. One person sees this and realizes, I belong in the outdoor world too. And every post that I made, every podcast that I did, it was all worth it.
That's it.
So,
Yep. I always tell my brother, I was like, man, think about this, because like right now, we're on season 8 of RTL. I said, bro, think about this. When we old and dusty, we put the podcast game up, and we move on. We go with the ancestors. Some kid gonna come across our show, be like, man, that shit was dope. I don't know who these guys are, but that's dope. Hey, one day some kid with dreadlocks might be like, man, he pick up a bow. Man, I want to see there's other black people that do this thing. Dreadlock hunters, and my dreadlocks will pop up, and he get to watching like, man, I don't know who this dude was, but man, he left all this shit. I mean, this shit is, oh, look, this podcast is from 2026. Damn, that's old.
yeah.
But he listened to it like, man, this dude was speaking, and he might pick up the mantle. And he dead and gone, but shit, now I'm the dreaded archer.
Yeah.
Pick it up and keep going. I got 2 little ones. I know my oldest, she got no interest in the outdoors. But my youngest, when she's gonna be around it. Like my oldest, she hadn't always been around me. We hadn't lived in the same town in a long time. So she grew up different. My youngest one is gonna be in my house with me. She's gonna see the podcast. She's gonna see the mount. She's gonna see me go hunt. I'm gonna introduce her to it at an early age. If she picks it up, shit, when I hit 55, 60 and I'm ready to retire this shit, she pick up and now she the dreaded archer.
Yeah.
And just keep it going.
Keep it going. That's what's up, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, this podcast is a little different than what we normally do, man. But I feel like it's something we needed to hit on, man. And I appreciate Trey for coming on as usual, man. And definitely go check him out, the Dread Archer on Carmen TV. His RTL podcast with him and his brother Nick. It's dope. They talk about sports and they're a little bit of ESPN over there, pretty much.
Exactly.
But
Raw ESPN.
yeah, raw ESPN. So definitely go check them out. Hit the like, subscribe button for me here on the We Do This Two Outdoors podcast, man. This podcast will be out on basically wherever you get your podcast out now. So make sure you leave a comment, leave a review. It helps me out, helps the podcast out. So for nothing else, man, big game, small game, all game. We do this too.
Peace.
It's your boy C Will. What the hell?